Good afternoon from Jim Bradford on the south side of Glasgow, where Rangers haven't lost in 29 matches, a run which stretches back to December last year. But continuing that run won't be enough today. It's all about the victory, which is essential to keep the pressure on Celtic ahead of the champions' trip to Hibernian tomorrow. Rangers lost to Hearts last week with 3 frontline absentees. Sasha Pabac, Kenny Miller and Steve Davis all returned today, with DeMarcus Beasley also recalled for just his 4th start of the season. Kirk Broadfoot, ever present until today, is among those who makes way, while Lafferty, Adam and Darshville are all left out as well. Up front, Chris Boyd partners Miller, having scored 3 goals against Hamilton already this season. Accies have been hit by the withdrawal of Richard Offiong, whose partner went into labour in the early hours of the morning. So Frenchman Joel Thomas comes in to lead the line for just his 3rd start for the club. Thomas takes his place in the middle of a forward 3 that includes Simon Mensing, who's back from suspension, and 18-year-old James McCarthy. David Graham is dropped to the bench as Hamilton again field a 3-4-3 formation. And Callum Murray is the referee today. Well, these two sides have already met twice this season, once in the League Cup here, a game in which Rangers won by 2-0. That came 3 days after New Douglas Park was the venue for Rangers' 3-1 victory back in October, a game in which Hamilton at one stage led with a goal from that man Brian Easton. Rangers in driving rain came back from behind that day, and that's what they've got to do in the title race at large this season. 7 points adrift after 16 games. Hamilton have lost all 9 previous matches with Rangers in the SPL. In fact, they've beaten them only 9 times in 81 league meetings. The last win over Rangers was here in the Cup back in January 1987. John Lambie's men beat aside with 10 internationals, thanks to a goal from Adrian Sprott. In fact, during that game, Chris Wood set the British record, 4 minutes short of 20 hours without conceding a goal. Launched long here by Davy Weir, looking for Chris Boyd. One in the air by McLaughlin. Forward again from Weir. Stephen Whittaker playing it right back today, and he's given it away to Joel Thomas. Good hold-up play by Thomas. The supporting runs did come. Elected instead for Alex Neil. Mensing back for Swales, and McGregor has made a mess of it, and an opportunity that's been taken. Hamilton lead in unbelievable circumstances, courtesy of a goal from James McArthur. And Alan McGregor is beaten. A really bad goalkeeping error and a shot lead for Billy Reid's Accies inside the opening 2 minutes at Ibrox. Well, that was the moment. He came out to punch, got nowhere near it. The finish from McArthur was exquisite. But it's all about McGregor. He came to punch, Thomas was there. His physical presence meant that McGregor could only punch the ball sideways. No chance that it was a foul. McArthur's finish was brilliant. McGregor, lucky that the ball didn't hit that outstretched arm. But Hamilton lead by a goal to nil inside 2 minutes here at Ibrox. That's a moment for Alan McGregor to forget. Carrying that knee injury, McGregor, but didn't seem to be anything that a decent knee could have done about that. It was just a goalkeeping error. Push on DeMarcus Beasley. Now Steve Davis. Boyd. Davis driving forward. Ferguson. And the footy came from Easton at the expense of a free kick. had a touch of the ball as yet. His side already ahead. He might be called into action here. Davis seemingly is going to tee it up for Chris Boyd, who's already scored 3 goals in his 2 matches against Hamilton so far this season. Here's Boyd, it's taken a deflection, it then actually hit Kenny Miller, and that meant that Cherney still hasn't had a save to make. Patch for Alan McGregor. Miller came to meet it and did well to flick it on towards Beasley. Clenaghan wins the throw. Chris Boyd scored 13 goals in 15 starts so far this season and 9 in his last 9 matches. Just wonder how close this might have been had it not ricocheted off Kenny Miller. I think Cherney would have had a comfortable save. Here's Thomas. Stony faces of Dean Durant and Wallace Smith, the only saving grace if you're going to go behind. Go behind when there's still 88 minutes to find the goals that will get you the 3 points. Thomas is offside. He did have a part to play in the goal, his mere physical presence creating the opportunity for MacArthur, whose goal was his first in 19 matches. His last one coming back on the opening day of the season, the victory against Dundee United. Clenaghan with the push on Beasley. Weir's free kick. Clearance by Easton. Whittaker. Ferguson. Clearance by Canning. On Hamilton. Last came for an SPL game in Glasgow. They ended up losing by 4-0 to Celtic, and that day Billy Reid admitted that he felt as though his side had really been outclassed. Since then, it's been a much more pragmatic approach from Accies, reverting to this 3-man defensive formation, which has served them so well over the last couple of games. Now they have something tangible to protect. The Rangers, of course, who were beaten last weekend by Hearts. It's another blow to quickly forgiven for being fragile self-confidence. The crowd already voicing their discontent. Clearance by Chris Swales. Whittaker. And McCarthy has won the throw. Just 18 years of age, James McCarthy. He scored 5 goals in 8 games at one stage last season. Can already boast the winner at Aberdeen in this campaign. Whittaker with the throw. And helped over the top for Kenny Miller's run. McClenaghan came across into a central position. Didn't have too long to dally on the ball. Beasley was putting the pressure on, but he did get it away, the Australian. Kenny Miller back in the side after injury today. He certainly missed at Tynecastle last week. Papach, another one, returning to the side after the head injury, which has ruled him out of the last 4 games. McClanahan. Brought down by the left back. Papach returning at left back today, meaning that Whittaker has moved over to the right. Kurt Broadfoot, the fullback, who's taking his turn to sit things out today. Fall from MacArthur. Here's McCarthy. That's a good ball in on the turn, but McGregor's handling was good this time, and it draws ironic cheers and applause from the Rangers fans. Whittaker. He's gone some 50 yards. Ferguson peeling off his man, leaves it for Miller. Good save. Good stop by Thomas Czerny. A really well-worked Rangers move. Their best football of the game so far, but it comes to nothing. Magnificent dummy by Barry Ferguson to play Miller in. Miller again. Hamilton's lead lasted just 8 minutes, and Kenny Miller gets Rangers back on level terms. It's really harsh on Thomas Czerny, who produced one magnificent stop to deny Kenny Miller. But seconds later, Miller has beaten him. And the Czech keeper is pulling the ball out of the back of the net. Great run by Whittaker, set up the initial chance. Clever dummy from Ferguson. And a brilliant save from Czerny, but it was just a matter of seconds later. Davis involved. And as Accies couldn't clear their lines, Miller, with predatory instincts, made the most of the opportunity to get Rangers back on level terms. 7th of the season for Kenny Miller. What an important goal as well. Too much that Thomas Czerny could do about it. He'll consider himself really unlucky. Well, they came from behind when they played Accies and New Douglas Park back in October. 1-0 down became a 3-1 victory. They've already got themselves back on level terms here in a hugely entertaining opening 10 minutes to the game. Beasley. Mendes. Continued his run forward. It was Boyd that tried to divert it back, but it was a great challenge to win it back, and here's Joel Thomas running at Biguera and trying to bulldoze his way through, and he might yet be able to do it. In the end, it took a last-ditch interception from Matthew Biguera. It wouldn't have counted. The referee has spotted an infringement. But it was a fantastic run from Thomas, who's still very much an unknown quantity. It broke back to him very kindly. And Rangers relieved. Ferguson was battling with him. He beat him a little bit too easily. And Joel Thomas causing mayhem inside that Rangers penalty area. And Callum Murray was quickly surrounded by protesting Rangers players, but was happy that the decision was the correct one. McClanahan against Papach. Weir's header, flicked on by Mendes, but it'll be easily picked up by Swales. Turned away by firstly Papach, then Beasley. Alex Neil's had an integral part to play throughout this season as the defensive midfielder, the linchpin in the Accies engine room. Papach. There seemed to be a push from both Papach and McClanahan in their respective challenges, but play goes on. MacArthur does well to win it back. Mensing back to the Hamilton goal scorer. Now Mark McLaughlin. Davies back for McGregor. His heart will still be racing after that error in the early stages. Whittaker. Davis. Back for Whittaker. It's a good driving run forward from Stephen Whittaker, but Cherney had plenty of time to judge the trajectory of the shot. Well, he's certainly been given license to push forward from right back today. Stephen Whittaker was involved in the build-up to the Rangers' goal. Unable to really trouble Thomas Cherney from distance. Whittaker, who might has come back from a knee injury with a superb goal at Kilmarnock a few weeks ago. Canning's made his way forward here. McClenaghan taking his time to make sure that the cavalry's in the right position. Hitting deep from the Australian. Ferguson beaten by MacArthur, but unfairly. It's a free kick to Rangers. Billy Reid delighted his side a goal up inside 90 seconds, but the message was calm down. It took Rangers just 8 minutes to equalise. A wonderfully taken equaliser from Kenny Miller, tying it up at 1-1. Nice take by Miller. Swales is with him. Beasley. Papach. And still Sasha Papach. The return ball didn't quite find him. It's found Miller though. He couldn't step through. McLaughlin stuck an important foot in. Davis has got there ahead of Thomas. Ferguson. Lovely turn by Miller. Threaded it through towards Boyd. Davis might get there first. Good defending by McCarthy. The Rangers have only dropped points in 2 of their last 26 home matches in the SPL. The away form's been disappointing though. They've drawn at Aberdeen and Motherwell, lost at St Mirren and Hearts. Long, long way to go yet. Beasley's done well. The situation better than McClenaghan. Papach. Thomas. Oh, it's a lovely turn. He's got past Davy Weir. He might be struggling to get back. Thomas with good pace, but Weir a wily enough head. McGregor came out and committed himself. McCarthy couldn't get there in time. It's hardly been a fluid performance from the light blue so far. Immensely frustrated with the way the opening has gone to the game, not just the concession of that early goal. The fact that they've been well below their best going forward as well. Struggling to break down this resolute personnel stacked Hamilton back line. Might be able to now though as Beasley finds Miller, who's stretched. Couldn't poke it in. Good break by Rangers down that left-hand side. And DeMarcus Beasley involved for the first time. McClenaghan caught out of position. He knew that the ball for Miller was the right ball to play. But in stretching, got his toes to it. He couldn't divert it past Cherney and inside the post. Good play by Beasley, who might feel as though he's got something to prove. He's starting just a 4th game so far this season. And missed more than 40 last year because of injury. Expect that the January transfer window might bring a significant change in personnel, with bodies going in and out of Ibrox. That was a very poor challenge on Beasley, acknowledged by Swales. The referee played the initial advantage. Beasley is down and is seriously injured here, but play goes on. Simon Mensing. McCarthy takes it on. And he's won the free kick. Only now will Beasley be allowed to receive treatment. It was a difficult one for Callum Murray. He played the advantage. That clearly was the right decision. After the foul by Swales, for which he was quick to apologise, just a mistimed challenge rather than a malicious one. My struggle with a knee injury last year, that looks to be an ankle problem. Much for Ali McCoist to consider. Marcus Beasley in the side today, preferred to Charlie Adam. He's left out. Chris Burke also saw some action last week, but he's not included today. As McClenahan's ball in from the resulting free kick threatened to cause problems, but referee Murray saw an infringement as he waves Beasley back on. Get balls inside the penalty area to threaten from set pieces is something that I know is part of the game plan today for Accies. Rangers restored to their full complement of 11 with Beasley trying to attract the attention of Weir in possession here. Miller. And Beasley's made a good reverse run, but couldn't get round the back of McClenahan that time. Launched long by Davis. Whittaker. Good play by Whittaker. His persistence not rewarded. And really good defending by McCarthy. James McArthur. Hamilton showed in their last game against one of the old firm that they certainly have made huge strides over the last few weeks. It was a narrow 2-1 defeat to Celtic, a game in which again they led with a goal from Richard Offiong. Ended up losing to a late goal from Paul Hartley. It was a wonderful flick from Mendes, but Boyd couldn't make anything of it for Rangers. Hasn't really been too involved so far, Pedro Mendes, but this is a side of what he can do. And he took it the long way round Alex Neil. Brian Easton, who scored against Rangers the last time the two met in the SPL, he's reportedly been attracting the attention of West Ham recently. Fast approaching his 100th game for Accies, and he's still only 20. Position in which there's a nationwide dearth of talent really left back. He's one of the very best emerging exponents of that role. Long from Swales, away by Weir. And the last touch was Simon Mensing's. Neil. Beasley. Well, he overran it that time, but you sense that his pace could be a real problem for Chris Swales, who's playing on the right of the three Hamilton centre-halves. Billy Reid would have seen the number of times that Beasley's got in between Swales and McClenahan, centre-half and right-sided midfielder. McArthur. It's another Hamilton throw. Mendes. Play by Swales for another Rangers throw. Miller. Ferguson's got some space. Davis for Bagheera. Ferguson with a little flick. That was level. That was a goal kick which the Rangers fans behind the goal didn't think too much of. Neil. Bagheera. A few of the Rangers fans were showing their discontent at Chris Boyd's inability to win it in the air that time. Feeling that perhaps he didn't jump for it, and certainly didn't time his jump very well. That was cut out by McLaughlin. Ferguson back towards Boyd, but headed away by Easton. Whittaker. Papach. Mendes. Another nice touch back for Papach, but so often in this kind of situation, Hamilton able to win the ball back. There's so many bodies behind it. Here's Miller. Now Boyd. That's a great finish to give Rangers the lead. And again, in a game in which we haven't seen too much of Chris Boyd, his first sight of goal ends in a goal. And they've turned it round, having been behind inside the opening seconds of the game. Nice take by Boyd. Just rolled it across the front of McLaughlin. And the finish was precise into the bottom left-hand corner for Boyd's 14th goal of the season. They do work well in tandem, Boyd and Miller. Instinctively know where the other is. And they're both on the score sheet today to give Rangers a 2-1 lead. Here come Rangers again with Beasley straight from the kickoff. He's brought down by Mensing. And this will be the first caution of the game. Well, he reached for the card, hand in the pocket. Now McClenaghan is being spoken to, not me. Mensing did well to beat a hasty retreat, but the referee, Callum Murray, has ascertained what's going on, and Mensing does get the yellow card. Well, straight from the kick-off, Rangers had won it back, and it was a good driving run by DeMarcus Beasley. Can Rangers double their lead from this free kick as it's in from Davis, round the back towards the figure of Ferguson. Well, the header back for Barry Ferguson, very close to going over the line. Cherney throwing himself back towards the line. Ball had beaten him, but he couldn't get there in time. McClenaghan with the throw. Thomas. He's done really well, Joel Thomas, tiptoeing his way through. McClenaghan can't win the corner. Rangers defended mob-handedly, and Beasley clears towards Boyd, but easily beaten by Canning. Papach. Now Bagheera. Here's Papach. Boyd made the early run. And is not offside according to the assistant referee, off the underside of the bar. It would have been really controversial. I think only the assistant referee thought he was onside. Here come Hamilton again, breaking forward as Rangers just inches away from going 3-1 up, and then the move breaks down with a rare mistake from McCarthy. But Boyd very nearly getting his second goal. And keep your eye on McClenaghan at the bottom of your picture. When the ball is played forward, McClenaghan has played him onside. It was a great decision by the assistant referee. The finish full of power, but not quite enough accuracy. Papac kept it in, but presented it straight to McClenaghan, and now MacArthur. And still James MacArthur. Couldn't work it into a shooting position. McCarthy loses out. Neil for Mensing. Well, since they've gone 2-1 up, Rangers have had a couple of really good opportunities to double their lead. The first, falling for Ferguson. Good header back by Bagheera. And Ferguson was there. A sharp chance for him, but he just couldn't get the power to divert it past Thomas Cherney. Well, he still hasn't scored, Barry Ferguson, since having that ankle operation over the summer, but Nigel Bagheera very nearly set him up. What would have been his first goal since Rangers played Motherwell last May. Whittaker. Miller. Weir. Ferguson. Given away by Kenny Miller. And they have looked dangerous, Hamilton, whenever Thomas has had possession, and Bagheera caught him there. And that's a yellow card. Algerian international. Picking up Rangers' first caution of the game. Five Aki's players forward. It's sent into the congested box, and a chance, a real chance for Chris Swales to equalise. And that's Hamilton's best chance to get themselves back on level terms. A chance which came against the run of play, but again, from a set piece, Rangers do look fragile. Boyd guided it down for Miller. Beasley's first touch a little heavy. Ferguson got past MacArthur. Ironic whistles towards the referee because he didn't produce a yellow card for James MacArthur. Well, after the mistake from Swales, it was a hospital wall really for MacArthur, who brought down Ferguson in the process. Pushed by Boyd this time. It's maybe the 21st game of the season, but Rangers have actually only led at half-time in 4 of them so far. Generally a side that, like Celtic, have got better as games have gone on. Here's Thomas. He ran out of room in the end without too much support. That very tight corridor. He actually came to Scotland because of his friendship with Rangers Jean-Claude Darcheville, who recommended that he came over to try and get a trial with Hamilton. He'd been at Kaiserslautern in Germany before that. Much travelled, the 21-year-old Frenchman. Ferguson for Whittaker. Launch long for Miller. But easy for Czerny. Mendes. Miller. In from Whittaker. Easton's lost out. It's a wonderful little backheel flick. Boyd trying to make the most of Davis's industry. Davis quickly flicking it in towards Chris Boyd's run. They have to make do with the corner after good defending by Swales. Missed the first corner of the game. Outswinger in towards Ferguson. Mendes. Ferguson. Couldn't get it past Mensing. Beasley. Good advantage play by the referee. Space for Miller. No, he didn't have the finish. Well, his body language almost identical to how it was when Rangers were behind inside 100 seconds of the game. Nevertheless, Walter Smith will be much happier now with the scoreline, if not necessarily with all facets of the performance.